You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's The Originals After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's The Originals After Show.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another after show here at AFTERBUZZ. We are doing Vampire Diaries once again. It is season 1, it says up on our board, but it is not season 1. It's season 5, episode 6.
Well, we're doing
Fruit of the Poison Tree. Oh, the original.
Yeah.
Oh, I said Vampire Diaries. I'm sorry, guys.
I
We're
was
doing
gonna
the
say
original.
we are in season 1.
Guys, I get so wrapped up in these shows.
You know what I think confused you? Probably this music.
Maybe. I don't know.
And not that I'm not loving it, but
No, I know.
it is a little.
It's a little mysterious. It's a little vampy.
No, it's a little originy.
Oh, you think it's originy? Well, originals are vampires. I apologize,
Coined
guys.
it.
But it is the original season 1, episode 6, Fruit of the Poison Tree. I am your host for tonight, DJ Jesse Janity. Couldn't be here, but I am Paige Sullivan, joined by my lovely co-host.
I'm Roxy Striar. Hello.
And so we know that you guys probably all watched this on Tuesday, and you are dying to get this information. It is, we love this show. This show is getting better and better.
Right.
There's so much happening
Right.
now.
Okay. So, first of all, speaking about it being on Tuesday, obviously today is not Tuesday. We are on Thursday.
It is Thursday.
If I get my days right, some of the times I don't get them right, but I believe it is Thursday. And a couple things I want to say. People are upset because they want the show to come out sooner. But, when you watch the show, if you watch on Tuesday because you can't wait, because we do that too, of course, and you really can't wait, then midway through the week, when there's no show on for 6 whole days, you don't get a show, and you're like, oh my God, what do I do? You watch our show, and we refresh your memory. We go over all the points. It's actually pretty awesome that we do it 2 days later because, at least for me, I get to watch it, then I get to come and talk about it, and then the show is not that far away.
And you
so
also
it's kind of plus.
Yeah, it's a plus, and you get time to process it because we watch it and then we immediately tape it. So when I get to watch on Tuesday and Thursday, I get a double dose of the originals.
Well, lucky you, lady.
Lucky me. So we're going to break this one down. There was a lot happening, but it didn't feel like crazy to me.
That's what the show does a very good job with. We have to get all this information. I mean, we're in season 1 of a show, so they have to load us in with all these things. At the same time, it's kind of weird because we already know about these characters.
Right.
So I think they're doing a really good job of keeping everything straight while giving us a lot of information.
Right. And I even saw in the comments, somebody commented on the YouTube that
The YouTube.
I was gonna say the YouTube video, but that this
You
show,
sound like my grandma.
the YouTube, but it's just easier to follow the originals because right now they're keeping us viewers in mind. They're not confusing us too much. I know we're still in season 1, so there's not a lot to confuse us with, but people who have switched over from the Vampire Diaries or just diving in, it seems much easier to follow for me.
Right, absolutely. And that's because if you think about the title of the show, The Originals, and then you think about what's going on, it's really about the originals. And even if it's not about an original character, it's about a war with an original.
Exactly.
So we're really doing a good job here. I think across the board, every person I've talked to loves this show.
I think it's hard not to.
I don't know anybody who's been like, that was an off episode, or didn't really like it. This show is absolutely killing it, and clearly you guys are loving it because you guys have gotten us up there on the iTunes ratings, and we love that you love it, and I'm so happy that you guys love our after show.
Yeah, and we love doing it, and it's just, there's so much to cover. Like I was saying, this is an easier show to follow, but that doesn't mean there's not a bunch of different storylines happening.
Right.
The difference is that they're all focused on that central plot, which is the original family. And so every storyline that we cover somehow affects the family in a way. And I think that's why it's easier for
So
me.
how are they getting affected tonight, Paige?
Oh my goodness, in many, many ways. Well, we're just going to jump into it. This whole episode was really revolving around Hayley and the baby and whether or not she was going to lose it. I think from the get-go we all kind of assumed she wasn't because I think it's too soon.
What?
I
How'd
think
you
it's
know?
I think it's too soon.
I mean, I think that it would be ridiculous for us to have all this build up to having a baby only for her to lose the baby.
Because that is it's like the magnet. It's like keeping them all together. It's
Right.
keeping them focused.
And also, I think this baby has to be born because now there's this prophecy about the baby. We have to know whether it's right or wrong, that the baby is going to be the undoing of all these witches.
Right.
And if the baby's never born, how will we ever know?
Exactly. So they've already tried to basically kill Hayley unsuccessfully. But this episode, Sophie is still linked to her. And the thing I liked is we're learning more about the witches, that they're all part of the same coven, but they have different motives. And Agnes has a different motive than Sophie. Why would Sophie want Hayley dead when they're linked?
Right, absolutely. And I think it's hard to tell right now, other than we know where Agnes's head is, we know where Sophie's is, but how will when the chips fall, how will the other witches choose?
And here's my question. Is Agnes solely working alone? Like, are these her motives? I know she got the information from someone else, but, trying to kill her and all of those things, it seems like she's got minions, but not a bunch of the coven is working with her.
Well, she's not doing anything anymore.
Not anymore.
Poor Agnes. I'm not sure about that. The other thing I'm curious about, I know that we know more about this. I'm just forgetting in the moment how long Agnes has been around for. Has she been there long enough that she has seen a lot of things? I mean, she's not a vampire, obviously. She's a witch, so
Right.
she hasn't been alive for thousands and thousands of years. But
No.
I do kind of recall something about her being around for a long time.
She's an elder, and she's the last elder.
Right, so
in their
what does
coven.
that mean?
I just think she is the oldest remaining witch.
But witches are able to age slowly.
I think so.
I wonder how old oldest is.
I don't think they go much past. This is my guessing, I guess. I would feel like into the hundreds, 200s. I don't think it's.
Because we know the last harvest was 300 years ago, and I wonder if she's so certain because she was somebody who was
I
brought
don't think
back.
so.
I don't think so either, but I'm just curious about.
I think if she was somebody who was brought back, there wouldn't have been a big controversy. She would have very willingly said, I gave myself up for this harvest.
Right, but would anybody believe her? Or
I don't
maybe
know.
they did. I'm not sure, and I'm not saying that's true. I'm just curious how long she had been around. How big of a deal was it that the last elder is now gone?
No, I don't know. I would love to know, and I would love to know what that really does to the coven. Because
What does the title last elder mean?
I mean, she has wisdom, she has experience, she has power, obviously.
Seems like she has more than that, though.
Yeah, so I don't know, because Sophie even says, we don't want her dead. She's the last woman in our coven that's an elder. She's the last one.
And I would never expect Sophie to stand up for her, but she did.
She did, even though, she's putting her own life at risk.
So maybe even though these witches don't seem to have each other's back sometimes, maybe they all really do, or is it just because it was Agnes, the last elder?
I think it's because it's Agnes. I think if it was somebody Sophie's age who had the same kind of power and didn't have much, say so in the coven, then it would be different. I wonder if it's more just she's an elder, they look up to her, she keeps the group together, she's a driving force of the coven, or is it
I think there's something we
that
don't know.
she's got this power that we aren't clued into?
And now it's going to have to be passed down to somebody else, and I just think there's something we don't know here.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sure there's a lot that we don't know.
There's a lot we don't know when it comes to the originals, but we'll find out slowly but surely. But so, Hayley's injected with some poison kind of thing.
Because Sophie's injected with it.
That's because, so Sophie's injected, and that is going to affect Hayley's baby. And basically it, boils the baby. I mean, her blood temperature rises.
This was weird, though, because we hear that it boils the baby, and we know that this is true because the time that the spell was used before, it was used on Sean. And it's what caused Sean to go crazy. But I didn't understand because the way that they described the spell was that it's only used for infants.
Well, I don't think it was the same exact spell. I think what was put on, because she was injected.
Well, no, she said that it will be by midnight, the baby will be
Right.
dead. And they said, how do you know? And she said, because the same exact spell was used on Sean.
It's weird, though, because I thought his crazy happened over time, but maybe it's a different effect on a human than it is on an infant growing in the womb. I mean, they're two different.
Right, but the purpose of the Needle of Sorrows, she said, Needle of Sorrows has one purpose, and it is to kill infants or kill womb
Yeah,
babies.
the babies. The baby. The
So I
fetus.
don't know. That was a little confusing to me. I'm going to have to go back and rewatch. If you guys know, please
Yeah.
let us know.
Yeah, let us know because it can get confusing with all the different terms and the different, poisons and things that are going around.
And unfortunately, we don't have the spell books here in the studio.
Unfortunately, we don't.
Although we should probably invest in that.
I'm sure you could go online and find them. I promise you somebody has something.
It's a good project for the week.
Yeah, we'll look into it. You guys look into it as well. But so this is really about, once again, everybody's coming together to protect Hayley. And so Rebecca, Klaus, Elijah's back.
He's back.
I don't know. It's weird because Rebecca is so quick to think, oh, he's on Team Klaus now. It's just going to be the brothers and I have to sit by and watch.
That kind of confused me. I mean, it did seem like Elijah was being supportive of Rebecca, but Elijah was quick to forgive Klaus in that situation. And then I never know with these three siblings. Are they all on the same team? Is Elijah and Rebecca on one team? Why is Elijah always forgiving Klaus? Is he just that kind of person? Why can't Rebecca forgive Klaus? With these three siblings, they keep you on your toes. You never know who's closer.
Right. I think Elijah is that he's the rock of the family. He's the constant. He's the one who will always forgive Klaus and always forgive Rebecca. Because to remind people or clue people in, if you didn't know the originals prior to this show, Rebecca wasn't the nicest person. She hasn't always been that great, especially when we saw her in the Vampire Diaries. Her intentions weren't always good. And so, I mean, she's never done what Klaus has done. She's never been as bad as Klaus. But at the same time, she's
on top
not.
of that, she makes way more mistakes than Klaus does.
Right,
in
and
terms of, as we see tonight with Marcel. Not that I'm calling that a mistake because, goddamn, that was hot. But I am going to say that she is more careless.
Yeah, and so Elijah
cleaning
is
up her messes.
Cleaning up her messes, cleaning up Klaus's. To him, they're his siblings.
Right, but it was interesting. Rebecca says tonight, you're never going to leave him, are you? You're never going to leave Klaus. And I felt like, Rebecca, he's not leaving you. You're leaving him.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So, I mean, wah, cry in your corner, but you're the one who's leaving.
Right, and I think she's always been like that. I feel like she's the little sister who's just trying to prove herself and trying to escape and come up with a purpose of her own, something that makes her important to the world.
You would think she'd find one after over 1,000 years.
You would think, but I feel that if she committed herself to her family, which I think will happen in this show, if she committed herself to the family and they all united, she wouldn't feel so lost and so lonely.
Right, but she might get screwed over because with Klaus, you never know.
Which is true. I think, I can't say, give him a shot because she's given him a lot of shots. I mean, she's really.
Right, but I was kind of surprised she was willing to leave Hayley.
I know. Poor Hayley, too. And she tells her that. And she's like, great.
Right.
Great. My girlfriend's leaving.
Right. I mean, Hayley's kind of on the rocks with Elijah right now. I think it's better than it was last week. But after that big slap, I don't really know where they stand.
I think she was just sending a message.
Yeah, I kind of think so, too. And there was a moment in Tuesday's episode where it really looked like they were about to make out.
She's carrying
I'm
his
sorry,
brother's.
what?
She's carrying his brother's baby.
Okay, you're going to have to get over that.
I can't.
I'm going to need you to get over that.
Because you're into it.
I'm into it. I can't help it.
Okay.
This whole, incestual.
She's into it. She
I
likes
can't know.
it.
Whatever, guys.
You know what? I'm cool with it maybe after the baby's born. Before the baby's born, I think
Well,
we
then
should keep
can
our
it just
hands.
pop out already?
I think it will. I don't think it's going to be a long pregnancy. She's already showing.
Yeah, she is.
She was showing significantly more than the previous episode.
Absolutely.
So I feel like it's progressing quicker than a normal baby would.
I was going to say, well, how long has it been if there's 9 months? But who freaking knows? 9
never
months?
know.
What?
I never even know. Is it a week? Was it a day? What happened in this episode?
And also, why does it matter how long it is? As if I know how long werewolves are supposed to be pregnant with hybrids for.
Exactly, because vampires technically aren't living things. And it's growing inside of her. I mean, it's a weird thing.
I just need it to pop so that you can be on team Hayley
and Elijah. I don't know, but I did feel the chemistry. Like, I felt it.
You felt it.
I felt it.
I knew you felt it.
Because I didn't like her. Sorry to go back to Vampire Diaries, guys, and I already, screwed up the intro with the Vampire Diaries, but it's, we saw them in that show, and I didn't see her having chemistry with Klaus. I didn't see her having chemistry with Tyler. But this I see. I can feel the sexual tension, and I just don't like it
right
now.
Okay. I'm going to stop talking about it because I disagree, and I'm going to get you there.
All right.
I'm gonna text you about it all week and send you
perfect.
like cute memes or
She's gonna
something.
send me like Tumblrs that are just like Hayley and Elijah.
You know
Oh
it.
Lord, oh Lord.
Obsessed.
But that's not the only hookup this episode. It wasn't a hookup, almost hookup. But Rebecca and Marcel, we've seen coming for the entirety of this season.
But although we saw it coming, I did not see it coming tonight.
No, and it just like happened, and I was like, "What is
I
going
love when they
on?"
do that. I love when they don't wait for some big finale when we know it. Like tonight, I was like just kind of sitting there, jotting down some notes, watching, loving it, eating my food, and then
Yeah.
it hit me so hot. Oh my God,
Mm-hmm.
so hot, and the pushing and the loving and the oh.
It's so funny. I was watching with my boyfriend he doesn't watch the show, but he's like, they're so aggressive. He's like, they're so fast. I'm like, you don't understand. This is amazing.
And then an hour later, you guys are having some fun of your own.
No, we were not. I was probably here at AfterBuzz an hour later.
And then an hour later, you were like, peace, have fun with yourself while I go to AfterBuzz.
I'm going to go to AfterBuzz. No, it's just insane because these sexual scenes on the originals are so much more intense than other shows because they're amplified. Their emotions and their feelings are just 10 times greater than ours.
Right, we learn more about this from being on Vampire Diaries, or if you watch Buffy, I assume, or if you watch True Blood. When you're a vampire and you die, when you die and then you become a vampire, whatever you were, however you felt, just is magnified times a million.
Right.
So any like sexual encounter is just even so much more, which is cool.
Right. It is really cool. And
It's cool to watch.
It was really cool to watch. I just didn't like the aftermath. You know, it was this weird, awkward conversation and him getting mad and her saying she's leaving and wanting him to leave. It felt like they came together to fall apart a little bit.
Right, but it's very typical Rebecca of after one night of being with somebody again, being like, leave with me, you know, like expecting them to be. She's such a leech, and I'm just like, you're so beautiful and you're pretty rad when you don't suck so much. So just like, chill, bro, chill.
Chill out, Rebecca. Well, I think it has to do a lot with whenever she does find love, it gets ripped away from her. So when she thinks she has like the littlest bit of a hope.
Right, but being a stage 5 is not helping her.
No, it's not helping her. If she had not asked him to leave, I don't think it would have ended that way. I think they would probably be doing some more of what they were doing.
But that's part of what being a stage 5 is, you know? Like, we just had sex. Now move out of this place with me. Like,
come on the road with me. Leave your kingdom behind, Marcel.
And that's part of her being a vampire and her everything, you know, being magnified for her. It's all like love, hate, like I hate you, I love you, so.
Yeah. Well, she kind of hops into bed with Marcel, and then after, he's questioning her, which he's been doing this entire episode about where Klaus is living. Because
he's like, oh, how's your bed at whatever inn?
Yeah, and so he first questions, I think the first questioning was with Josh when he says, oh, you brought him back to his place at this hotel, right? And he's like, and he's still staying there, right? And Josh obviously can't, you know, he's not under the vervain or whatever it is that's in their blood. So he... You know, he's on Team Klaus, but he's
being compelled by Klaus.
But he lies, you know, somewhat successfully to Marcel, but puts a hint of question, you know.
I mean, enough for us to get Thierry.
I know. It's just strange because, like, by talking to Josh, he's like, oh, you know, I'm going to go down into the garden where I basically banished him for 100 years, and now I'm just going to ask for his help because I trusted him.
Right. I mean, if I was Thierry, although... Marcel did say you could be at my Mardi Gras and did give him that little bit and also gave him some blood and was a little better. I would be like, you trusted me that much, but you won't let me out of here?
Exactly.
Like, are you crazy? But I don't know. The king sending a message, there is validity there.
It's one of those things I feel like, you know, when a kid gets in trouble and their parent's the principal at the school, they get a harder punishment than the rest of them because you got to show everybody, look what I'll do to my own person, to my best friend.
Exactly.
So,
that's a good point.
Yeah, Marcel can't.
Good comparison.
Yeah, I mean, making it relatable for you folks out there. I mean, but
why you can't just relate to putting your best friend in the dungeon because he vampired you wrong?
How morbid, right? Like they're like basically encased in walls. It's like Edgar Allan Poe kind of stuff.
Yeah,
like.
Thierry just didn't even seem that upset about it. He, you know, he's down there. He's like, this sucks, man. Like,
this sucks.
Yeah, he's like, so, what, did you come down here to tease me more?
And his girlfriend's dead. I mean, he's probably just like.
Yeah. and he's down there, what, for 100 years?
Something like that, yeah.
So, I mean, in comparison, 100 years compared to Mardi Gras, we're going to get him out by April.
Eesh.
Is that when it is? February? April?
I'm pretty sure it's in like March.
March?
Like February, March. Isn't Fat Tuesday in March, and then like afterwards is Mardi Gras?
The pathetic part is that I've gone to Mardi Gras before.
And she doesn't even know.
So, all right. In all fairness, I was incredibly drunk. So I don't remember the month.
As I'm sure they will be on that episode. I mean, it's funny because these vampires, they're always drinking, but they're never drunk, really.
Yeah, they can hold their alcohol well, and the alcohol subsides with their craving for blood. So maybe it just processes not through the liver.
Maybe not. Well, they've got blood coursing through their veins, so I'm sure their blood alcohol level stays a little lower than most people. But Marcel kind of, engages Thierry, and he's trying to put together the pieces about what's going on with Klaus.
And Thierry knows what's up.
Yeah,
Thierry ain't dumb.
No, he's not. And he talks about even the night of what happened with his girlfriend. He's like, he was going to kill her.
Right.
He's like, he wasn't ransacking like you told us to do. He wasn't just creating a problem.
And he says, I guarantee you that he's been compelled, and says who he's been compelled by, and how and when and who else was there. Like, Kid knew. Kid had been sitting down there thinking about it and was like, think about the witch's place. It's a mess. You never could find it there. He really thought this through.
Well, of course he did.
He had a lot of time.
Yeah, I was going to say he's been encased in a wall, so he has nothing else to be thinking about.
What would you do encased in a wall?
I would just try and sleep. I think I would
100-year sleep?
I think I would just sleep a
You'd
lot.
wake up pretty well rested, I
I'd
think.
wake up, stretch it out,
Like, can't any of those other people down there talk to him?
Well, they haven't had blood in a while, and we know that like when vampires don't have blood, they become very weak, and so I think at a point they probably just can't.
Right, but I'd just be like, wake up.
Wake up. Talk to me. He's like, I need a friend. Tells them his sob story.
I guess that's not how it works.
No, I don't think it's how it works, but I do like seeing Thierry come back because I did feel like he was wronged a bit.
Right. I really like Thierry.
Yeah, I like him, so I'm excited to see where that goes. But this storyline kind of twists into everything that's going on this episode. We have Hayley, who Marcel doesn't know about. Hayley's linked to Sophie.
Hayley that Marcel doesn't know about. He knows he doesn't know she exists. Huh.
Because she's been in hiding, basically.
Right, she's been in hiding, but that's interesting because I know that he knew there was a werewolf in the corridor, but he never knew that it was Hayley.
Yeah, no. And the only people who know are the witches, but the witches are
right.
a little bit, they're not friends with Marcel, obviously. They're kind of on bad terms right now.
Right.
But it just links everything together. It's, he doesn't know about Hayley, but he has Davina, who's working with Elijah, who Davina unknowingly is working basically for Elijah right now. Do you find it to be a bit conniving, what he did with that spell?
I do. However, I do think the consolation prize is the fact that the next spell she does gets to be the one of her choice.
Right. So he gives her a spell that's basically going to cut the ties, basically unbind Sophie and Hayley.
I'm just curious how he was so positive that she wouldn't just leave it there till tomorrow.
Because what else is she doing?
No, but he wasn't like by midnight, maybe she would have tried harder. He was just like, have fun. Like he put no urgency on the situation. And had he, yes, she would have known, but I think maybe she would have helped.
But I think before, she was sick. Or she wasn't sick at that point. He was out with Davina giving her the spell, trying to unbind them because he learned of Sophie's true intentions.
Right.
He wasn't there because he thought the baby was going to die yet.
That's true.
While he's at Davina's, that's what's unfolding.
Good point, Paige Sullivan.
So I think that's why, had he known that her life was, or the baby's life was in danger, he maybe would have disclosed more to Davina.
Good point.
But I liked seeing Davina learn to control her powers. I'm surprised at how hard it is for her to really master that spell when she has so much.
I know. We were very misled from episode 1, from the pilot, and from the second episode with what Davina is. She does have all this power, but we thought she was this almighty, and she really isn't because she has potential to be, but right now she isn't.
Yeah, because she has no control. She has no idea how to control her power.
Right.
I don't even know when they're that young as witches if they've been practicing and where they are and their skill level and what they know how to do. But I'm excited to see where this relationship goes for Elijah and her.
What do you think she's going to ask him? What kind of spell is she looking to do? Maybe a protection spell or
I would think it might be something like a protection spell. I think it's a little crazy to me. She's so out for blood when it comes to the other witches. She's so hurt by what they did to her. But, you know, she's not going to kill Sophie. She knows Sophie was fighting for her. Like, when does it stop? When does she realize they were all just as oblivious to what was happening as I was?
Who's they all?
Well, some of the coven, the ones who weren't there that night?
No,
because,
everyone in the coven knew. It was just the girls that didn't know.
Yeah, but I just feel like they didn't do it in a malicious way. I think they truly believed they'd come back.
That's fine, but they still tried to slit her throat.
Right. I understand that. I mean,
I get what you're saying,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, they tried to slit her throat, and she's a 16-year-old, and trying to get her to see the bigger picture, probably not going to
I
happen.
know, it's a selfish time in a little girl's life. I just feel like, you know,
All she's thinking about is Timmy. Like,
I
she
know.
can't be like, oh, well, they weren't really trying to kill me, you know?
Maybe Klaus can compel Timmy to tell Davina that maybe she should just let them all live.
And then I bet she would.
And
Maybe
probably.
she'll try to do some spell to bring somebody back from the dead and try to get her best friend that was killed.
Yeah, I think it could be something like that, something to kill the witches or a protection spell. One, just because if she makes it to a certain point in time, then and they haven't killed her yet, then it won't work. So it doesn't matter.
Or maybe she'll try to see the past, like some
Or
sort
the future.
or the future. Either way, and see what the results of the spell would actually be.
Yeah, I wonder what she'll do. I mean, I really don't know, but she has so much power. She can do a lot of damage.
As long as she learns, which is
what she's doing.
I mean, and Elijah right now thinks that teaching her is innocent, but it could come back to bite him in the butt.
Yeah, we have absolutely no idea where this is going.
If she takes all of that magic that she learned, all the power she learns from Elijah, and then is on Team Marcel, she will be a force to be reckoned with.
And didn't Daniela tell us something larger is coming, something bigger, something
Right.
we haven't seen before?
And she said they're all going to have to join together somehow. So
Davina's power could be used for good or for bad. We have absolutely no idea. But it was nice seeing her learning.
yes,
And it was nice also seeing her save
no
Hayley.
child left behind.
Yes, no. She's got to be in school, guys. Got to be in school. If you can't leave your attic, you might as well bring the learning to you.
Exactly.
But so we have that going on all the while. There's, you know, the priest. There's a town. There's this whole business with Agnes going on.
Yeah. I mean, we also, with the priest, I didn't realize how big of a part in all of this the priest was about to play. We've got Cami coming to him. We've got him pissed at Agnes because finally we find out Agnes was the one who did this to Sean.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that Klaus finds out, which obviously has to do with Cami. It very much so seems that the priest and Klaus would never be on the same team, but in this episode they were.
They had the same motives.
Right.
Yet they each wanted to do it their own way. Unfortunately for the priest, Klaus is just much stronger, smarter, faster.
Why is the priest not afraid of Klaus at all?
I don't understand. And he says, I have the people. You know, we are the people.
What you gonna do with those people?
But I love how Klaus is like, I'm the one who created this many years ago. And he's like, it was made up of pirates and corrupt politicians, which it still is, which I think is so funny. Because they're obviously hiding something from the people of New Orleans. And they're talking about, oh, well, this person, when we first get in on this meeting, oh, well, how can we explain this person going missing? Or how can, it's like, oh my gosh, like, you're covering all of this up.
So are you just as bad?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know, because it's just confusing to me. What is their motive? What are they doing? They're just keeping everything at bay?
I mean, they're keeping it safe, and I'm sure that in return the vampires do good things for them.
They must.
And the witches and everybody.
Yeah, but, you know, Father's been doing a lot for
But
them. He's got Davina in his attic.
If I was Father and I found out about Agnes and putting the hex on Sean, I'd be pissed too.
Yeah, so he wants to go out and kill her.
Especially after Cami comes to him that morning and is like devastated that she's not devastated and very confused and just so torn up that she's not torn up, you know?
Which is sad to watch.
Right, it was really sad. I mean, I can't imagine a feeling like that.
No. Oh, gosh. I mean, because she's had her mind wiped clean, and we see later in this episode, she's not happy about it.
Right, absolutely not. Which to me was the most enticing part of the entire episode. I absolutely loved that interaction between Klaus and Cami. I was shocked, but I really appreciated that she was not pleased. You know, in his world, if somebody did that for him, that would be a favor. But the last thing she wanted was more blood on her hands.
Because he didn't kill Agnes. He had a hand in the killing of Agnes. But she says, why did you kill her? I think she just wanted answers. She just wanted to know what happened to her brother.
Right.
And she still doesn't really
And
know
now
what
she'll never
happened.
know.
And that's a frustrating thing. You hear a lot with people who have, lost loved ones to murder or something like that, and they don't get to ask the questions to the person who did it. You want to know why.
Right.
Why this person? Why my family? Why did you have to do that? Because Agnes didn't care about Sean. She was sending a message, and she was trying to have this harvest happen by sacrificing the life of all of those priests.
Right.
Which is so selfish.
Absolutely. And I think that Klaus took that ability away from Cami and then made a decision for her that was not his to make. Although, like you said, Klaus is not the one who kills, because it's Elijah, which was also incredibly shocking that the way that situation.
I saw that going down. When Sophie said, "Promise me you won't let Klaus,
right,
kill her," and he goes, "Oh, okay, I'll
you
I'll
have
keep
my
that
word."
one.
Right, he said that.
I saw him killing Agnes because
Who were the other people he killed?
I think they were just her people.
He just was ripping hearts.
Yeah, I think it was just the people with her because we didn't get a good look at them.
Which brings us back to the point that, oh, really, Father? You have the people? Well, you know what I'll do to your people? Boom, boom, boom.
Right, it's insane.
Like, okay, now what about the people?
I'm surprised that Elijah did it because normally we see him as such a stand-up guy, but at the same time, everything on his mind right now is that baby and Hayley. And the fact that she was not only in an insane amount of pain, but the baby was almost killed.
Nobody hurts my family. That's what he said.
Yeah, he's seeing red. He's just going to do what he thinks he has to do.
And going back again, because the originals do come from Vampire Diaries, when we think about Vampire Diaries and you think about the one time that Elijah didn't keep his word, even though he is a man of his word, it was to Elena, and it was because he said, it's my family, this is the one time I'll break all rules, I'll do whatever because this is my family. Mm-hmm. It's crazy how much Elijah values family, considering how little Klaus seems to value him sometimes, especially putting him in a box with a dagger in him. But
which I think Klaus thinks it has good intentions, but
right, I think Klaus almost at this point, and this could be ignorant, but he almost thinks it's like
funny,
comedic.
Yeah.
Like, again, brother, really?
Let me stick you in the box. I don't know. I feel bad, but I'm not conflicted. I'm excited to see what happens now that Agnes is gone. I think she's not a nice person. The fact that you are willing to kill Sean and all of the people he was working with, you're willing to kill Hayley, you're willing to do all these things.
There's got to be more to her because why is Sophie sticking up for her? There's got to be more to her.
I don't know. I don't know, though. I mean, I just think when you do... we're fans of vampires here, so they all kill a lot of people. I mean, I'm not here ripping Rebecca apart for killing all those guys at the pool table.
Are you a ripper?
No, I'm not a ripper, but, I don't get angry when they do that, but I don't know why this is really frustrating.
Because she's messing with our peeps.
Yeah, she's screwing with the wrong family.
Yeah.
Not fair. But I don't know. I don't know what's going to come of Agnes being dead.
Yeah, and especially now that she's dead, how do we get more information about her? Obviously, there's some ways,
Sophie.
but, right. I just think that there's more to learn about her even though she's gone. Mm-hmm. She's not off the show. Like, there's more to her.
And we've seen in the past, sorry guys, the Vampire Diaries, that witches can kind of communicate once they're dead. And they draw from their ancestors anyways, this group. So maybe we can draw from her, but we can't have her back.
Maybe she's on the other side.
Yeah, I don't know.
And by the way, instead of saying sorry, I'm sorry I'm not sorry, because
I'm sorry I'm not sorry.
These originals, they come from Vampire Diaries.
Yeah.
And I think that most of the people who watch originals is because they fell in love with them on Vampire Diaries.
Yeah.
And if you didn't, well, then we're talking about it to let you know what happened on the show.
And I almost think, as much as they're trying to separate themselves, the two shows, next week we see that we're having a crossover. How do you separate yourself when Tyler is solely going to the show to seek revenge on Klaus, which none of Originals fans would have seen had they not watched Vampire Diaries?
So one of the characters from Vampire Diaries, for those of you who do not know, Klaus killed his mother, and he is bitter. Klaus also kept him from being with his loved one and all these other things that Klaus, of course, messed up for him and does. And now he's coming. He is a hybrid, and he's coming to hunt Klaus down. And although something that we learned on the Vampire Diaries that we have not yet learned on the originals is that if you kill an original, you kill their entire bloodline.
Which would kill a lot of people.
So that means if you kill an original, the person that they turned dies. The person that person turned dies. The person that turned. So anybody that's been turned by them or somebody they have turned would die, which is why killing an original is so much more than killing one original.
That's why I don't understand, one, why Tyler's coming, because what kind of revenge is he seeking? But I'm excited to see he does not know that Hayley's with Klaus and that Hayley's with child.
That is true.
And him and Hayley were good friends.
Really good friends. I really hope there's no romance that goes on there.
I don't think there's going to be a romance there.
Especially because I'm on Team Elijah. But that being said, I love me some Tyler.
I'm excited for it. We'll see how that goes. But we'll just wrap up this episode real quick. You know, Marcel.
Good point. There we go. That's why you host.
Yeah. Well, hey, I mean, it's hard to get wrapped up in Tyler. I mean, you guys are going to like him. If you haven't seen him before, you're going to like him. But Marcel caught on to everything after talking to Josh, Thierry, Rebecca. God, I don't want to do that again. But so he's led by Josh to the home where Klaus is staying. And he finds Hayley.
So now we know that he knows not only is Josh turned against him, but Josh was drained or somehow his vampires are being turned against him. So he can only assume that's Klaus.
Right.
So he goes to the house, and there's Hayley. And next thing we know,
she's gone.
She's gone.
So Elijah comes home. She's missing. Rebecca's on the road. She doesn't know anything that's happening. Klaus is talking to Marcel in the streets, and Marcel basically tells Klaus that he was at his house. He's like, I love your new place. And they're talking about the hotel and making up these, Klaus thinks he's playing along with this game. And Marcel, says, you're living in the plantation where I was a slave.
Right. Which is just such a weird dig.
It is, and I wonder if that was an intentional thing.
Right, of course it was intentional.
Was it intentional in the fact that Klaus was trying to hurt Marcel, or was it intentional in the fact that it was the one place he didn't think Marcel would go?
I think it killed two birds with one stone, but I think originally the latter. I think he knew Marcel would not look there. I love what's going on, this Cold War. The two of them, the way they speak and then they smile. And it's like
frenemies.
What tricks are up your sleeve and what do you know that I don't know?
And it's funny because they each hold such powerful things and neither knows what it is. And I really think it's going to come to a head soon. We see next episode that we're fighting for Hayley's life. So
other than leverage, what other reasons could Marcel want Hayley?
Maybe the baby. Maybe once he realizes she's pregnant.
I mean, it's pretty quick to...
Which you'll see. He doesn't... I was going to say he doesn't know she's a werewolf, but can't they smell it, on them? They, know when it's a werewolf.
Yeah, she also has that weird tattoo.
Which
or whatever it is.
Birthmark. We mentioned that might mean she's a different breed of werewolf, or she's from a certain line of werewolves.
Right.
Because not every werewolf has one, and it's very significant. You can tell because people mention it all the time, and I feel like they wouldn't have done that if it didn't have some significance. But I think it's leverage. I think it's the one thing that he can control over Elijah and the originals and Klaus.
Right. Also, he must know she's something if she can hold the original's baby. Although actually,
he doesn't know it's Klaus's baby.
Right. I wonder. I wonder how he got her to go with him, how he lured her.
That was my question because technically he can't enter the home.
Right. He's not invited in, but does she? I don't know.
I don't know. I have absolutely no idea.
I don't know. You don't know. We don't know.
That was my first question. I was like, she didn't invite him in, did she? Or maybe...
But maybe because it's the plantation.
Where he grew up on, it's technically his home.
I don't think when you're a slave somewhere, something is your home.
But on a technicality, maybe.
Perhaps.
That's the only thing I can think of. How else would he have got Hayley out? But Hayley also has never met Marcel. She doesn't know who Marcel is.
Maybe she just said, come in.
Yeah, maybe she's like, oh... Come on. He tricked her. But so
he is very tricky, sneaky.
But this all kind of comes to a head and it means Klaus is coming back to the house to find that she's gone. But Rebecca is no longer leaving town because Hayley's missing.
Right. And I am so excited to see the trio of the siblings fight for the same cause.
Because it's not just Klaus and Rebecca protecting Hayley for Elijah, and it's not fighting to get Elijah back. Now it is fighting for Hayley, but the three of them have to work together.
And I really feel like it's their baby. I don't feel
families,
like it's a family baby.
It is. It truly is. But so that's basically where the episode wraps up. But so we'll jump into some predictions here for what's going to happen next week.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Do you have any serious predictions?
I don't know. The weirdest, biggest thing that we could predict is about Tyler coming back. I mean, we don't really know why he's there, but we know that there's gonna be some drama there. So I predict that he joins Team Marcel somehow.
Okay.
I don't know. What?
I don't predict. It's completely opposite for me. I think he's going to come there with the intentions of fighting Klaus and seeking some sort of revenge. But when he realizes that Klaus and Hayley are having a baby together and that she's missing, he's going to work with Klaus and Rebecca and Elijah to save Hayley. Hayley's one of his best friends. Hayley is.
That's a good point.
You know, she's one of his own. She's a werewolf.
Maybe I definitely don't see him working with Klaus, but maybe.
Or working at the same time.
Right.
I don't know.
That's a good point. That's good.
He can't work with Marcel. Marcel's kidnapped Hayley.
You know how many times I've said that tonight? I'm like, that's a good point. You must be on fire.
I'm just trying to think out loud here. That's
yeah.
all.
Obviously, Rebecca's coming back, but what about Rebecca and Marcel?
No, I think it's done.
Do you think that he only slept with her for the information? Or do you think he still...
Yeah. No, I think he only did it for the information.
That's so sad.
We're also missing something. He said there's something that Klaus doesn't know about her and him.
Right.
So we're
a
still...
few episodes back.
Yeah, we're still missing some information there.
Definitely.
And I don't know if it's good or bad.
And also, how long is Marcel going to go without talking to Cami? I know Father said that he couldn't.
I think he's over Cami.
You think?
I do. I think Cami was just a pawn for him.
I don't know. He seemed to really like her. He said he found his queen.
He liked her. He basically was like conning her into dating him.
Well, so maybe something happens with Klaus and Cami?
Not right now, but maybe in the future. Maybe down the road.
Are we putting Cami on the back burner?
I do. I think she's a side story right now.
Okay.
Because we're focused on, I know this coming episode we're focused on Hayley. I think we're eventually going to be very focused on this baby being born.
And then we're going to be focused on this thing that's coming to town that we don't know what it is.
And the witches, you know, what's going to happen with that? When is the deadline for Davina before she, you know, is free of this harvest?
Right.
There's just,
or before she dies.
I feel like Cami's storyline basically came to a close right now. We know how her brother was killed. Or, like, why he did what he did.
They did wrap that up pretty quick. I was surprised.
So unless there's something else that we don't know about her or know about her uncle, then I don't see where she fits in right now other than as a kind of love interest.
Okay.
So, I don't know. We're going to have to find out and see next week. So, make sure you guys check us out on iTunes. If you missed last week's or this week's, you guys can check it out on iTunes and YouTube. But make sure you comment, rate, tell any of your friends who are Originals fans and want to come check it out. And let us know what you're thinking because we do read your comments. We take them to heart, and we appreciate your feedback.
Every day. I look all the time. I want to know what you guys are thinking because we're obsessed. You know,
Yeah.
we're obsessed with these shows. So anything we cover is because we're diehard fans.
Yeah.
So I want to know what you guys are thinking.
We want your opinions. We want your thoughts. Anything we maybe missed, fill us in. So make sure you keep the conversation going there, as well as on Twitter. You can find all of us on Twitter. You can find myself at Paige Sullivan.
You can find me at Roxy Striar, of course, here at AfterBuzz TV.
Yes, and AfterBuzz TV. And feel free to, you know, tweet our other co-hosts who weren't here this evening, DJ Jesse, Jay, Kristen Center's Cinematic Escape. So make sure you tweet all of us. We love to talk to all of you. And make sure you guys tune in next week. Thank you, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.